Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Grand Traverse, where all are truly welcome, all of every background, identity, and age. We will be looking forward to resuming our children's classes and our time for all ages, but we have a spot for that in our program today, and we have a very nice video that I think we'll all enjoy because after all, it is a time for all ages. I am Susan Smith, coordinator of this service and a member of the Sunday Services Committee. At the top of our order of service, you can know informational items. If you choose to share joys and concerns in the book at the front of the sanctuary, Margaret Wozniak from the Congregational Care Team will read what you choose to share later in this service. That sharing enables us to support one another through our individual challenges and losses and to share in each other's celebration, growing ever closer as a result. Here at UUCGT, we enthusiastically embrace and welcome you just as you are to our beloved community. You might say, we've been waiting for you and your authentic self all of our lives, and we are so glad that you're finally here. If you are new to our congregation or haven't been here for a while and are willing and able, you may stand to introduce yourself. Chris will bring a microphone which will enable even those streaming from home to hear your introduction. However, please feel free to remain seated and silent if you prefer. Is there anyone who would like to introduce themselves today? Well, I'm going to introduce myself to a few people later on because there are people here that I don't personally recognize, so I'll look forward to getting to know you better. Today, we look forward to the message from Jack Lankford on how to grow a friend forest. You will notice as part of our setting this morning, we have some of our friends represented among our pine trees. Let us now turn our attention to our centering music, You've Got a Friend in Me, performed by Fred Shapansky on piano.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. You've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You've got troubles, then I've got them too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. If we stick together, we can see it through. 'Cause you've got a friend in me, oh yeah. You've got a friend in me. Now some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too, maybe, but none of them will ever love you the way I do. Just me and you. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jack Lankford, and I'll be your speaker today. Can everyone hear me all right? Perfect. I have an awful habit of looking away from the microphone when I'd like to talk to people, so let me know if you can't hear me. It was nice to start our morning with that song with Fred. Disney is one of my favorite media companies, and I will always love Toy Story, and that song will always have a special part in my heart. Today we'll be talking about the quote-unquote magic of friendship, which I truly do believe is magical. I'm excited to spend this time with all of you this morning, gathering in community and really diving into the depths of what friendship can look like and mean to all of us. Susan will be helping me walk us through lighting the chalice, so I am excited to bring her up on stage to get that chalice lit.
As Jack lights the chalice, please join me in reading the words of our covenant printed on the back of the order of service. I'm accountable for me. You're accountable for you. In community, we hold each other through joy and conflict. We openly welcome all as we respond to the needs of the world. And now, let us listen as Jack sounds the singing bowl to focus our attention on this moment in our sacred time together. Our opening hymn is number 354 in your gray hymn note, We Laugh, We Cry. So please rise in spirit or reality as you choose.
There's something here to which we
Jeff has nicely queued up for us the Time for All Ages video. And again, think about how we make friends as we watch this video. How do we find our friends?
The more we get together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause your friends are my friends and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be.
Let's bicycle together, enjoying the weather. Let's bicycle together and breathe easily. The air will be cleaner, the grass will be greener. Let's bicycle together and breathe easily. 'Cause your air is my air and my air is your air. The more we ride together, the healthier we'll be.
Let's work with one another to help out each other. Let's work with one another to try to give back. With care and affection, we'll make a connection. Let's work with one another to try to give back. 'Cause your joy is my joy and my joy is your joy. The more we help together, the better we'll be.
Together we recycle and it's just delightful. Together we recycle to limit our waste. From paper to plastic to compost, fantastic. Together we recycle to limit our waste. 'Cause your world is my world and my world is your world. The more that we recycle, the greener we'll be.
Let's make the world better by writing a letter. Let's make the world better by sharing ideas. To speak up is super, it changes our future. Let's make the world better by sharing ideas. 'Cause your voice is my voice
And my voice is your voice.
The more we come together, the stronger we'll be.
Let's gather around the table whenever we're able.
Let's gather on the table with all of our friends.
And with every plateful we'll feel ever grateful. Let's gather around the table with all of our friends. 'Cause your meal is my meal and my meal is your meal. The more we eat together, the closer we'll be.
We can make a difference
When we work together,
We can make a difference together as one. When we put our passion towards kindness and action, we can make a difference together as one.
'cause your hope is my hope and my hope is your hope. The more we work together, the happier we'll be.
Such joyful and true thoughts and ideas for being together. Now we've come to the time in our service where we get a chance to express our generosity through our gifts, given in anticipation of thoughtful stewardship, knowing they will make a difference. Those gifts sustain our building and its associated costs, our staff, and those in need from our community who have been thoughtfully selected for the receipt. In addition, the board has earmarked a portion of our donations for our social justice work. Freedom isn't free, as we've all come to realize. It is an uphill battle with an attached cost, never more true than in today. In all these ways, our offerings reflect our commitment to our UU shared values. If you are watching at home, you may choose any of the ways described in the slide to make your donations. And now let us enjoy our meditation and offertory music, What a Wonderful World, performed by Fred Shapansky on piano.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I hear friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I hear friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Now is the time in our service when we name and honor the joys and the concerns that mark our lives, the milestones and moments of our lived experiences. I will be sharing the joys and concerns that have been offered up for us to hold in our hearts as we are gathered today. I invite you, if you have a joy or concern that is a bit too tender or raw to share in the service, I invite you to reach out to Reverend Alex or a member of the congregational care team. You can identify us by the purple ribbon on our name tag. Are there any other members of that team here today? Jane Watts, Carl Kyneth, thank you. They're all good listeners. If your joy or concern is still raw and tender, you may also just light a candle at any time in the service, knowing that you are held in the loving hearts of this community, because none of us was ever meant to travel life's journey alone. Now here's what has been shared for us today. This is from Max Old Bear. I wish to thank you families and friends who have donated walkers and other aids for people in need of them. The aids are stored in the basement and can be borrowed by signing them out. My borrowed walker has been a great benefit. Thank you, Max. Since that's the only thing written today, please indulge me. I want to share this joy. Yesterday, I shook out a rug that I had never washed before. And I read the label on it, and I got a real joy out of the label because it was made in China, and it said, "To dry, hang in the air." So I decided this has to be able to be put in the dryer. So after washing it, I did not hang it in the air, but I put it in the dryer. And when I took it out, my joy had changed into a concern. Because the back of the rug had shrunk, whereas the top of the rug had not shrunk. So we had a mountainous rug. Doug and I have been saying this Lakota prayer before our meals, and not especially to give thanks to food, but for a wider awareness of the world. And I won't read it all, but it begins, Grandfather, Great Spirit, and it ends, teach us to walk the soft earth as relatives of all who live. Teach us to walk the soft earth as relatives of all who live. Now we have a brief silence for those unspoken joys and concerns to remind us to carry them with us throughout the coming week.
Hello again. I'm here to lead us through a prayer or meditation as you see fit. Personally, for me, meditation is where I like to think about the actions I'll take. A quote I've been using for years that's on my bathroom mirror, that's on all of my work binders, that's in my car, is I can, I will, I did. And that's the mindset I like to give myself for each day. In the morning, I can blank. I can be a kind friend. I can choose joy. Throughout the day, I will choose joy in this interaction. Even though I'm not feeling it, I'm gonna choose joy in this interaction. And then at the end of the day, reflecting, I did choose joy in that interaction. I did choose to be patient and kind. Or maybe I didn't, and I say, I did choose to try my best in that moment. With that, I'd like to invite you to either close your eyes or keep them open, whatever works best for you, as I lead you through a few statements to lead us through our day. I choose to find joy in today. Let me always lead with kindness, compassion, and care. May I always show respect, understanding, and empathy for others. May I be considerate of others' experiences and how they blend within my own. May the spirit of life encourage me to seek joy, new experiences, and new opportunities. May I always be open to learning. May I always be open to making mistakes. May I always have a sense of humor about said mistakes. That one's the most important in my mindset. All right. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that little manifestation. To me, mindfulness is a really exciting practice, and sometimes it can feel kind of competitive when you see these people that talk about how they can meditate for hours, or you see that online influencer with all their get up and their perfect spa. But really, mindfulness is whatever works for you. Sometimes mindfulness is having a conversation with yourself in the car because you don't want to call and talk to someone else about it. Sometimes mindfulness is staring at a tree for 20 minutes because it's swaying and pretty. And sometimes mindfulness is truly putting on a meditation app. There's really no wrong way to be mindful or to meditate in your daily life. And with that, we'll move into our, oops, I'm on the wrong page here, y'all. We'll move into our next song, Spirit of Life by Fred.
Good morning. The reading today is A Hidden Wholeness, and it's by Parker Palmer. And those of you who know Parker Palmer, he always has a lot to say, and in a few words. And this is really very brief, but Jack has chosen this for us this morning, and I think if you listen carefully, you'll find a lot to it. In true community, we are windows for one another. Each of us catches a different glimpse of the same great truth. Together, we see more than one of us can see alone. But this kind of community is not cheap. It requires time, risk, and trust. And it asks that we show up with our whole selves, our doubts as well as our faith, our fears as well as our hope. The cost is real, but so is the gift. We become larger, more whole, and more alive.
As we move into this next section, how to grow forest friends without fertilizer or faking it, I invite you to bring out your imagination. While it might not be the time for all ages in this moment, I believe there's always the time for imagination in all of our ages and stages of life. Think about that feeling when you're 12 years old and you've transferred to a new school and you've just made it through the lunch line that you barely understood how it worked, and they were out of strawberry milk that your old school had, and now you're standing in front of a lunchroom and everyone's staring at you at their tables and you don't know where to sit. Now you're a 24-year-old looking at your Instagram story, seeing these people going out and having a great time. You sit and look around your couch Your Ben & Jerry's container's open, the Doritos bag is just down the couch from you, and you kind of wish you were there, but you weren't invited, and that sounds too nervous. You're a 34-year-old working a new office job. You've moved to a new city and uprooted your family and your children for this new opportunity. Your boss walks you around the cubicles, shows you where the water cooler is, and then sits you down. You hear people talking about lunch plans and how about Janet's baby shower coming up, and you don't know any of these people yet. Who will you talk to first? You're 54. You're walking into a new class. You've never taken this class before. Someone told you it'd be a good way to make friends. Everybody seems to know each other in this class. You're arriving a bit late. Everyone has their watercolors out. They already know the instructor. You're holding your bag, hoping someone will let you sit with them and will tell you what's going on. Now you're 74. You've gone down to the senior center. You found a movement class that sounded really exciting. You walk into the room, and that familiar feeling bubbles up again. Everyone's in a circle, laughing and talking about last week's disaster, talking about how in a few weeks they're planning a barbecue. And again, you really hope someone will let you in that circle. We all know what that feeling of longing and desire for friendship feels like. We all know what it feels like to be the new person on the block, to not be sure how to break in, to not be sure how to make a friend. You know, we like to think in our youth about the joyful time of how easy it was to make friends. You'd go on a playground, someone have a toy, you'd say, cool, and they'd go, want to be my friend? And you'd go, yeah, and you'd have a great time. Skin knees, peanut butter sandwiches, Kool-Aid juice boxes. It seems so easy to make friends. But as you get older and your worldview gets bigger and larger and you meet more people and have more complex thoughts, sometimes it feels harder to make friends. And sometimes it feels like there's just no opportunity. My name's Jack, and I'm the president and founder of Evergreen Community Group. It's a 501c3 nonprofit that's dedicated to the science of friendship. We work as a completely volunteer team to put on events that help adults make and keep friendships in the area. With that, I've learned a lot about the science that goes into making and keeping friendships. I always like to teach everyone about the 2 R's of friendship: repetition and relatability. Friendship is driven through those 2 R's. When you think about that early childhood experience and how easy it was to make friends, or how much easier it was to make friends in school or college or university, some of the things that you have in place are repetition. You're seeing the same people over and over again, whenever you like it or not, and relatability. You're typically having things in common. You have that crazy university professor that you wonder if he's washed his hair in the past year. You have that science teacher that you just can't stand. Oh my God, Justin Bieber is so cute, and you're 13 and that's all you can think about. Those 2 R's help us bring it together in community. But when those 2 R's aren't as obvious, sometimes it feels stressful or even anxiety-inducing to think about how to make friendship in the adult world. So that's where we came in with Evergreen. Evergreen does events over and over again for that repetition, where you're seeing people that you know. Maybe you're kind of shy to talk to that person that first time, but you really like their hair. Then you see them again, and you got that feeling. I like your hair. Thanks. I got it done at a salon. Yeah. Whew, I did that, and you walk away and you're like, okay, maybe my social skills aren't completely dead here. The third time you see them, so where do you get your hair done? I go to a salon downtown. Oh, me too. I like Darling Boutique. Oh, cool. I go to Jordan's Cuts. Great. You've made it through 30 seconds. You feel real good going home. On the way home, I talked to someone. Her name was Janine. The fourth time you see them, Janine tells you that she's planning to go downtown to check out an art fair. You tell her that you love art and that sounds really cool. Feels a little awkward. There's some silence, and Janine's looking at you, and you're looking at Janine, and you find yourself saying, could I join? And Janine says, yes, would you? And it feels just like it did when you were 6 years old and that kid in the sandbox extended their hand and said, do you want to be my friend? The truth about friendship is it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, and it's growth. To make a friend, you really have to be a friend. You have to be curious about the experiences of others. You have to put yourself out there and stumble over your words and sometimes say the wrong thing. Sometimes you have to stand there and be like, I also like that. But you know what? At the end of the day, the same person on that other side is also doing that. So when I think about building a friendship forest, I really like to think about planting the seed. So when we start off at planting that seed, that's being curious about the experience of others, especially others that aren't like you. You know, maybe you see this person and they're rough and tumble around the edges and they're really into motor trucks or whatever it is that you just can't fathom that being in your world. But you notice that they have a keychain to a movie that you like. Might be a little uncomfortable, but complimenting that person plants that seed. It might not be a full tree. It might only be a sapling that gets wiped out quickly, but you planted the seed. I like your keychain. I like to say the best way to introduce yourself to someone is look at them, see something that they purposely chose out about themselves, and compliment it, especially if you really like it. Most of the time, we choose things about ourselves that are really special that, you know, maybe you debated in your bedroom for 20 minutes if you were gonna wear the red dress. That was so exciting that you bought at Old Navy, and it's not something you would normally wear, but you know, it made you feel really special in the dressing room, and it took you 20 minutes to get it on because you're like, all right, I don't usually wear red. Here goes nothing. And you know, in our heads, we're already expecting rejection. We typically seek rejection. We tell ourselves that people are going to be snide, that people aren't going to like it. But the truth is, most people are. So we can break that stereotype by going, wow, that red looks really cool on you. Oh, thanks. So when we plant that seed, that opens the door for connection. That starts the 2 R's, repetition and relatability. You have something in common now. You like my red shirt, and I like the red shirt too, because I wore it. So it might sound silly, but that really is the basic science. And then repetition. Try to find out what that person's interested in. Maybe you are in a group like Evergreen. Are you coming to the next event? Maybe you did sign up for a class. Are you doing both the morning and the night, or just the night? Maybe it's, where do you sit when you take this class? If you really want to get to know that person, it's okay to try to be around them and see what you can find out. Next up, once that seed's planted, the next step in growing a tree is it starts to sprout. So, you know, you mentioned, you know, I noticed on your Facebook that you said you liked, you know, start asking them about their experience. Most of the time they'll ask you back. You know, I saw that you were interested in that art fair on Facebook. You know, I used to be a vendor in it. Really? That opens up a conversation. And sometimes people aren't going to be super open. Sometimes they're going to be like, yeah, I like art. And that's okay. Just keep trying. Try different things. Everybody has their magic trigger. You ask me about shopping or fashion, oh boy, good luck getting me to shut up. But, you know, once you have that sapling, you know, saplings are strong, they're resilient, and they're getting ready to grow. But the thing about saplings is they have so many directions that they can grow, and they'll only grow if you give them the right fuel and light and water. So it's the same with friendship. Friendships will only grow and maintain if we sacrifice and give them attention. It's really easy to wish for friends and wish for this big group of people to check in on you selfishly or to have people to do things with. But the truth about friendship is it's difficult. We're adults. We have so many different things. You have your kids, your grandkids, you have work, you have your volunteer commitments, you have the house. God, you have that garage that you still have to organize. And dear God, can someone just go up to the attic and clean it already? All of those things are weighing on you. And it can be kind of hard to remember, well, I haven't called Bob in 3 weeks. But the addict, I implore you to call Bob when you're up in that attic. Or call Bob and ask him if he wants to come over and see what's in your attic. You know what? Most people want to spend time with you. I can't tell you how often I get a call, and it's like 8 o'clock, and I'm like, it's Jack. Do you want to go grocery shopping with me? Sure. I actually need to go to Aldi's. That works great. Friendship in the adult years doesn't always have to be this big spectacular thing, but it does take effort. Remembering to reach out to people, remembering what's important to people. This sounds crazy, but I keep a running file on each one of my friends, what they're up to, so that way I can remember. Because I'm not Jesus Christ superstar. I can't remember everything. But you know, when Erin tells me, I'm really nervous, I'm going to go take my esthetician exam in a few weeks, I hope I pass, I put that in my phone. And then the day before, I know to text her, hey, you're gonna do really good on that exam, and even if you don't, I'm still here for you. And then the day after, sounds like you passed, should we go get dinner? I can't expect myself to remember that, but I can choose to make an active effort to put it in a calendar, to write it down, to put it on a sticky note, to put it wherever it is, no matter how weird it is, so you'll remember it. I can't tell you how many times I've hung out with a friend and they're like, what's on your hand? Does that say bar exam? Yeah, you just passed it. Okay, Jack. But that's the truth. Sometimes friendship is awkward. With that, it also takes sacrifice. You know, I would love it if my friends wanted to go to the mall 24/7 and swipe our credit cards until they stop lighting up. But the truth is, that's boring for some of my friends. And sometimes my friends want to do things that I'm like, I don't know, man. But the truth is, I end up going, and I still have a good time, because it was never about the activity we were doing. It was about being with them. So sometimes it's this give and pull of, do you want to go to this concert with me? Dear God, I would rather drop a knife on my foot than listen to Morgan Wallen. But I love you, let's go to the concert. And you know what? You'll probably have a good time, and if not, you'll have real funny stories to share with that friend. I can't even stress to you guys, one of my best friendship memories with a friend was a horrible concert that we went to, that it rained the whole time. The singer got really drunk and fell on stage, and we spent all this money on it. You know, I could look at that and be like, God, that was awful, or I could go, do you remember when he fell on stage? Yeah, I do. It's all about perspective. So those sacrifices help that sapling grow. Those are the water, the sunlight. And the thing about water and sunlight is they're difficult to get there. The sun has to shine perfectly. The rain has to get to the roots eventually. But once you get there, the sapling starts growing into a young tree. That young tree is sturdy, but it can't support everything. When you have a tree that's only this high, you're not going to put a tree house in it. And if you are, you know, it's going to be a ground floor unit, but you know. Even, you know, Millie Bobby Brown, with how skinny she is, that's going to be a ground floor unit. So with that, those new friendships are still flexible. They're still being built. Not everyone has to be your best friend. And some people are going to be best friends in different stages of life. And sometimes that's hard. It's hard to remember that. You've been so close as friends for the past 3 years, but your life is a bit different now. Now it's only a once-a-month hangout versus every day. But that's the thing about friendship. It ebbs and flows. The truth is, it's all about that connection, that strong tree that can flex and support through the storm. Sometimes friendships have fights, just like that thunderstorm that came and knocked all the apples out of the farmer's tree. Sometimes you say something you didn't mean, and that person goes, I can't believe you just said that. I thought you were my friend. But the truth about it is you can go back to that tree the next day, and while picking up the apples go, you know, that was wrong of me. I shouldn't have said that. You have a right to be upset. I was frustrated when you said blank. A young tree is flexible and resilient, and it'll grow into a middle-aged tree. That middle-aged tree has a strong, sturdy base. You can recognize it as a tree. That tree out that window right there, you can recognize that that's a tree. You can see its base getting thicker and deeper. You can see its roots driving down farther. So with that, you know, you want to think about those connections. Do the roots intermingle with other people in your life, with different stages of your life? But just like a middle-aged tree, if you neglect it, it will die and decompose. It's still important, just like in those early stages of friendships, to check in. Sending a letter. I have notices on my calendar reminding myself to reach out to friends that live in other areas at least once every 3 months. It feels silly doing that, but then it hits that 3 months and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't talked to Julia in 3 months. I really should call her. And I call her, oh my God, Jack, I've been thinking about calling you. Great, well, we're both on the phone now. So, you know, set yourself up for success there. And then finally, in our oldest years, our longest lasting friendships, we can look at a big, beautiful oak or willow tree. Big, strong, and sturdy. You can look at that, you feel safe with it. It holds down close to the earth. But again, that big old tree doesn't change from a sapling or a seed where it still needs care and attention. Friendship really, truly is about, can you pay attention to each other? Can you take a genuine interest in someone else's life? And can you be willing for change, flexibility, and growth? So that's how I like to think about a friendship forest. The kind words, checking in with people, memories, that's like your watering can. Reaching out for new experiences, putting your guys' selves out of your comfort zone, meeting each other's partners and families. That's like the sunlight. All of it grows a beautiful forest of friendship. As we move in towards the end of this service, I just want to have you guys think about friendships in your life. Is there someone you haven't reached out to in 6 months? Maybe you see them on Facebook at 11 o'clock at night when you're scrolling through and you're getting ready for bed and you're like, I really wonder how Amber is. I want you in that moment to pause. You don't want to reach out then because it's 11 o'clock and anyone reaching out at 11 o'clock at night, it's usually not for good reasons. One of the two ways. But put a note on your calendar. Write it down on a sticky note. Do whatever it is to remind yourself to call Amber the next morning at 10 and say, hey, it's been a while. How are you? Most people really will appreciate it. Most people really will pick up. It can be scary. It's that same feeling of walking into the lunchroom. It's the same feeling, even though it's a friend, as walking into the new class. But the truth is, people do want to hear from you. People do crave friendships. I can't tell you how funny it is standing in a grocery store line and being like, oh my God, I love those. Oh, me too. 20 minutes later. And then my husband, he was on his 3rd knee surgery. Oh my God. Oh, it's our turn. Everybody wants to be connected with. Everybody wants to feel like they matter. Everyone wants to feel like they belong. Everyone wants to feel like their story is heard. I implore you to seek those stories, to seek those trees, those seeds, those different stages, and build your own forest of friendship. If you're interested in the work that Evergreen Community Group is doing, feel free to check out the Flash, where our website is typically linked, or you can look up evergreen-mi.org. On there, you'll find a section where you can sign up for our newsletter and text notifications if you like. You can see an event page, a calendar page, and you can see what we're up to. Evergreen is a completely volunteer-ran organization between 6 people. All of us work day jobs that are very intensive, and we come together with the little spare time we have and put these events on. But we're always looking to grow. Maybe you've always wanted to start a book club. Maybe you've always had a desire to start an art club. Reach out to us. We're here to support that. Our dream is to see every person in Northern Michigan have a friend and a full-on support system. You can also find out what we're doing by reaching out to me after the service, and I'd be happy to get you plugged in. Everybody deserves a friend, and your story does deserve to be heard. We're going to move into our moment of stillness that will be concluded by me sounding the singing bowl. During this time, I want you to think through, do you have any friends you haven't reached out to in a while? Do you have a friendship where it feels like it just fizzled out? Is there a person in a class or a club or a Soul Matters group that you go to that you've just really wanted to get to know better, but you've stopped yourself? Really think about that. And maybe think about one little step you could take. It doesn't have to be everything. You don't have to plan out 10 years from now that you're their bridesmaid or that you guys are at each other's grandchildren's baby showers. But think about that one step. What's something you can compliment them on? What's something you have in common? What's something that you know that they're interested in that you've always been curious about? And how could you take that step? Thank you. We'll be moving on to Susan with some announcements about the congregation now.
I feel totally inspired. I'm going to go home and reach out to some friends. Thank you, Jack. That was wonderful. Yes, I have the onerous task of presenting the announcements. Next week is water communion. Remember to bring a small container of water. that you can contribute to our communally mixed water, symbolizing our shared life and collective hope. Those of you who might want to learn more about us, there's an orientation September 14th. That's only 2 weeks away, 12 to 1:30. Topic is UU religion in general and UUCGT specifically. Sign up at the welcome table. Starting point classes for newcomers and current UU members are Sunday, October 5th, 19th, 26th, and November 2nd from 12 to 2. You do not have to attend all 4. Sign up at the welcome table. Now, I know you can't possibly remember all those things that I rattle off, but they are in the flash, so refer to that for details and reminders. And for Reverend Alex's coffee hours, which are really very, very enjoyable and can be I remember going the Wednesday morning where I saw many of you after the election, and we were there in search of solace, and we found it there. So, as I said, please look at the weekly flash for reminders and details about what's coming up and all the details. Now, our closing hymn, Lean on Me. Words and music by Bill Withers, and Fred Shapansky will lead us.
Lean
As we release the flame, Jack is going to release it as I share with you these closing words from Bell Hooks. In her book, All About Love, Bell Hook writes, "Rarely, if ever, are any of us healed in isolation. Healing is an act of communion. To build community requires vigilant awareness of the work we must continually do to undermine all the socialization that leads us to behave in ways that perpetuate domination. We choose community." And now a benediction from Jack.
I thank you for taking the time to be here with me today, to think about what it is to be a friend, what it feels like to have a friend. And I implore you to always lead with kindness, compassion, and grace, to seek interest in others' life and experience, to go out into the world and be the friend you would like to see. May we always lead with heart. May we always be a good friend. Thank you. Please feel free to join us in the social hall. We'd love to meet you if you're new. And if you have any questions or are a new member, please check out the welcome table.